Well, first of all, Bob Arum is a snake. Bob Arum is the type of man that you invite to your house, you give him gracious hospitality, you give him the honor and respect, you turn your back, and he tries to go to bed with your wife. So you know what kind of guy he is. So Bob Arum is, we will take him on, and I'm going to give him back his $300,000 that he gave to try to corrupt Julio Cesar Chavez. But Mexicans are honorable. Mexicans are loyal. And after 9 or 10 years of being together with Julio Cesar Chavez, he couldn't find it in his heart, even though he had been encouraged by 2 other snakes, Alberto Gonzalez, a trusted advisor to Julio Cesar Chavez, who turned out to be a snake and a Brutus, and Leon Pizzanti, who was the worst lawyer in the world, an ambulance chaser, hustling, and they took money from Bob Arum to coerce and influence Julio Cesar Chavez to be dishonorable. But the honor that's embedded in the Mexican's heart rose to the top, and Julio came back home to Papa.
I mean, that's a criminal
Bob,
thing.
and wouldn't have once he first paid if you would have paid him what he was looking for.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
Yeah?
Yeah, prick.
Go ahead.
Come on, get him out of here.
Get out of here.
Move him out of here, Derek.
Bob Arum is a piece of fucking shit. Good night, everybody.
White working with anyone else?
Who gives a shit with White? He's a piece of crap.
But you just said you welcomed him to the sport.
Yes, because then it's an acknowledgement how strong boxing is. He has a UFC that's cratering, and he needs boxing to save himself.
Fuck Top Rank. Salute, baby. Fuck Top Rank. That's what we here for right now, man. That's what we live for right now. You know what I'm saying? Fuck Bob Arum. Okay? That's what's gonna happen. Fuck Bob Arum. Alright? Why you talking shit, Bob? Keep your goddamn mouth shut. Keep your goddamn mouth shut, Bob.
UFC are a bunch of skinhead white guys watching people in the ring who are also look like skinhead white guys.
Well, I take offense to that just for someone who covers the sport. I'm not a skinhead. I'm actually a Jew. I'm not a white, I'm not a white guy, so nothing like that.
Yeah, well,
in MMA.
And you don't have any tattoos.
No tattoos, and a lot of people I know in MMA don't have tattoos. It's a pretty brash thing to say about the sport. I mean, really, if they're two separate, why even take the shot?
Because for me and people like me, it is not something that they ever care to see. They've watched it, it's horrible. Guys rolling around like homosexuals on the ground. I mean, it is not a sport that shows great talent. The guys who throw punches can't throw a punch to save their ass. When the punches land, the guys have no chins. These are not like boxers. They are not trained like boxers.
I heard Bob Arum, fucking little bitch, crying about it. Fuck him. I had to throw that in there. I fucking hate that guy. Anyway.
Now we're going to do a face-off. Fuck her and fuck them. There was no face-off, and we saved the fight.
Absolutely. But as of right now, he's with Bob Arum, so the fight is not going to happen. Bob Arum is worried about making money. He don't really care too much about the fighter. You know, these fighters that sign to me, I care about the fighter making money because this sport is grueling. This sport is rough and tough.
Will I ever work with Arum again? Honestly, I seriously doubt that. Fuck Arum. Piece of shit. I'm gonna keep it real now. I'm tired of fucking just keeping it always politically correct and try not to get him upset because all the fighters are still with Top Rank, because my brother still works with Bob Arum and Top Rank, and fuck that fool.
Don King was a disgrace and a traitor to his race, because how could he support Donald Trump, who was an absolute bigot and very dangerous for this country? And we all went back to the Philippine Village Hotel, and we had an orgy for 2 days. Never screwed so many women in my life in one short period of time. Excuse me.
And you're going to interview Bob Arum on Sunday, that senile fuck, and put his shit in the paper?
What have they not told us? Do you think the media has been presenting this fairly from both sides?
Well, Chavez Sr. said it too. If Bob Arum wasn't involved, I mean, you have to go back and look at history. You look at Oscar De La Hoya. He had to get away from Bob to get the big fights. You look at Miguel Cotto. You look at Floyd Mayweather. Now you're looking at Julio Chavez Jr., Mikey Garcia. I mean, you have to look at the history of this guy who is known for not being honest, not being truthful, and Julio's been on the shelf for a year. Mikey Garcia's been on. I mean, he has absolutely no heart about the fact that these guys are fighters that have to feed their families. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. But you know what? You guys perpetuate it because you write the same vomit that he spews, and you guys lick it up and you write it instead of asking the hard questions. You know, what do you agree to? What have you done? You're telling us everything, but you're showing us nothing. You know?
Do you think there's any contract or anything involved? I think you're talking about a contract.
The same way when Donaire was fighting Abner Mares and they said it was $2 million and Bob called Schaefer a liar. What did Schaefer do? He put the contract out there on the internet and we all saw it. Well, show us the back of the signatures. Show us the back sheet. Let's see some signatures. What did you agree to? And who are you talking to? You know, you guys, I mean, that's your guys' job. Do some of ask the hard questions. Or get together and say, hey, you know what? We're not going to write your bullshit anymore because we don't believe you. Because I'm telling you, I thought we had until the end of the month. Now they're saying that we're like, what did I say in November? We're fighting, Manny's fighting Jesse Vargas, and we're fighting somebody else in May 2nd. It'll be, you know, then in November, it'll be Manny versus Mikey Garcia, and then get used to Mikey Garcia 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and whatever. But as long as Bob Arum's in this picture, you're not going to see this fight. And never mind the fighters, but I mean the fans deserve it, and you know they're the ones who are missing out.
Bob Arum, a name that resonates deeply in the cutthroat world of boxing promotion. With a career spanning over several decades, Arum has been instrumental in shaping the landscape of modern-day boxing. As the founder and CEO of Top Rank, a premier boxing promotion company, he has been at the forefront of organizing some of the most iconic bouts in the sport's history. From an initial career in law to becoming an unapologetically abrasive boxing promoter, join us as we uncover the stories and controversies that make Bob Arum a fascinating yet scandalous figure in the boxing world. Bob Arum's story begins in the bustling neighborhoods of Brooklyn, New York, where he was born on December 8, 1931. Raised in an Orthodox Jewish family in Crown Heights, Arum grew up in a crowded 3-bedroom duplex, sharing the top floor with his parents, 2 sisters, an aunt, and an uncle. His academic journey began close to home at New York University, where his interests in politics and law were sparked. Excelling as a student, he served as the student body president in his senior year and gained admission to both Harvard and Yale law schools. Choosing Harvard, partly influenced by his girlfriend at the time who lived in Massachusetts, Arum developed a keen interest in tax law. Excelling in his studies, he won an award for being the top student in tax and evidence in his class, leading to a recruitment by Barrett, Cohen, Knapp, and Smith, a Wall Street firm specializing in tax and corporate law, where he formed significant professional and friendly relationships, one of which was with Vince Broderick, one of the firm's general counsels. In 1961, Arum joined the U.S. Attorney's Office with Broderick and quickly became head of the tax division. He dealt with significant cases, including one against boxing promoter Roy Cohn, involving Floyd Patterson's fight purse against Sonny Liston. Arum discovered that Roy Cohn was attempting to mismanage Patterson's earnings by depositing them in a European bank and paying Patterson over a span of 17 years. This led Arum to seize all proceeds from Patterson's fight, including live gate and broadcast revenues. During this time, Arum deeply immersed himself in the boxing industry, gaining expertise in its complex financial aspects. Later, while prosecuting mortgage brokers for tax evasion, Arum uncovered corruption leading back to Floyd Kramer, the president of the Washington Heights Savings and Loan Association, who tragically committed suicide just hours after Arum had persuaded a grand jury to indict him. The tragic outcome of the case deeply affected Arum. He reflected on his role in the events that led to Kramer's suicide, questioning the nature of his work as a prosecutor. This introspection led Arum to a realization about his career path, ultimately deciding that a career in prosecution wasn't for him after all. In 1965, Bob returned to Wall Street, joining a prestigious law firm. His involvement in boxing began when he reconnected with a TV executive, Lester Mallitz, who he had met during the Patterson-Liston investigation. Arum represented Lester Mallets in promoting a fight between George Chuvalo and Ernie Terrell. With poor closed-circuit broadcast sales, Arum suggested hiring a black commentator, breaking new ground in 1965. This move proved successful. Jim Brown, the chosen commentator, later encouraged Arum to pursue boxing promotion full-time, even offering to introduce him to Cassius Clay, aka the great Muhammad Ali. Arum's meeting with Ali was a game-changer. He assured Ali of not only a 50% share in profits, but also promised to generate more revenue than any of his previous collaborations. This commitment, along with the endorsement from Elijah Muhammad, Ali's spiritual mentor and the leader of the Nation of Islam, cleared the way for Arum to become Ali's boxing promoter. He promoted Ali's upcoming fight against Ernie Terrell in Chicago, 1966. The fight generated immense interest, with ticket sales skyrocketing and closed-circuit revenues hitting new heights. However, just weeks before the bout, Ali's stance against the Vietnam War became a focal point, particularly due to his powerful and controversial statements. He declared, "I ain't got no quarrel with them Viet Cong," and made a poignant remark about not being derogatorily labeled by them, a comment that directly challenged the racial tensions and perspectives of the time. Ali's refusal to join the army stirred controversy in Chicago. His words drew criticism from the press, and calls emerged from the Illinois State Athletic Commission, politicians, and veteran groups to cancel the fight. Facing financial challenges and mounting opposition, Arum relocated the event to Toronto. Here, Terrell was replaced by Canadian boxer George Chuvalo. Funding the event's costs on his credit card, Arum managed to pull off a promotion that raked in $180,000. Although the revenue barely covered his expenses, Arum was satisfied with the outcome, recounting it as the fight that launched his career in the boxing promotion business. Arum played a huge role in Muhammad Ali's career, promoting 27 of his 61 professional fights. Their extensive partnership spanned several years and included many of Ali's most renowned battles in the ring, including the second bout against Joe Frazier on January 28, 1974, famously titled The Super Fight 2. Ali triumphed with a unanimous decision, paving the way for their iconic third showdown, the Thrilla in Manila. Another was the final clash in Ali's trilogy with Ken Norton in 1976. The intense and closely fought fight ended with Ali securing victory by unanimous decision. These epic matches not only helped cement Ali's legacy, but also solidified Arum's status as a premier figure in the world of boxing promotion. Following his initial success with Ali, Arum expanded his reach in the sport. He founded Top Rank, a professional boxing promotion company, in 1973. Top Rank would go on to become one of the most influential promotion companies in boxing, handling numerous other renowned fighters over the decades. This includes legends like the previously mentioned Muhammad Ali and Manny Pacquiao, an 8-division world champion known for his electrifying performances, Oscar De La Hoya, the charismatic Golden Boy, and the undefeated Floyd Mayweather Jr., who built his early career under Top Rank. Boxing icons such as Sugar Ray Leonard, the powerful Marvin Hagler, and the fierce Roberto Duran further highlight the company's legacy. The roster extends to include the likes of Thomas Hearns, the technically brilliant Vasily Lomachenko, and Terrence Crawford, recognized as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in recent years. These names, a mix of historical icons and modern champions, underscore Top Rank's enduring global impact. With around 1,500 fight cards held in 22 different countries and approximately 9,000 bouts, Top Rank has cemented its legacy in the boxing world. However, success often walks hand in hand with controversy, and Bob Arum's career is no exception. While he scaled great heights in the realms of boxing promotion, Arum's journey has been peppered with contentious moments and legal entanglements. These controversies, ranging from disputes over fight promotions to various legal challenges, not only underscore the tumultuous nature of the boxing industry, but also highlight the rocky and cynical path Arum navigated, whilst making many enemies along the way. As we look further into this aspect of his story, it's clear that his influence was as much about managing scandal as it was about promoting legendary fights. In 2000, Bob Arum was involved in a significant controversy related to the International Boxing Federation, or the IBF. Arum voluntarily testified that in 1995, he paid Robert W. Bobby Lee Sr., the president of the IBF, $100,000 in 2 installments. This payment was part of what was supposed to be a $200,000 bribe, facilitated through a middleman named Stanley Hoffman. The purpose of the bribe was to secure the IBF's sanction for a heavyweight title fight between George Foreman and Axel Schultz. Initially, Lee had demanded $500,000 for the approval, but reportedly settled for $200,000, half of which was never paid. Arum's testimony came against the backdrop of Lee's indictment for racketeering in 1999, followed by his conviction for money laundering and tax evasion in 2000. As a consequence of his involvement and testimony, Arum faced sanctions from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, including a fine of $125,000. This controversy highlighted the corrupted underbelly within the boxing world, particularly in relation to the sanctioning bodies and their management of title fights and boxer rankings. Other promoters, including Cedric Kushner and Dino Duva, also admitted to making similar payments to Lee, which further underscored the widespread nature of these practices at the time. In August 2000, Arum found himself back in the courtroom, but this time he faced a lawsuit from one of his own star fighters, Oscar De La Hoya. De La Hoya sought to terminate his contract with Top Rank, Arum's promotion company. This legal move came after Arum suggested that De La Hoya should retire and pursue a music career, a remark that didn't sit well with the boxer. De La Hoya, expressing his commitment to boxing, described Arum's comments as disappointing and filed the lawsuit to regain control of his career. The case revolved around alleged violations of California boxing regulations by Top Rank and accusations that the company acted as a boxing manager without the necessary legal credentials. In January 2001, Judge Matt Byrne ruled in De La Hoya's favor in the Los Angeles Federal District Court, rendering his contract with Arum null and void. This ruling freed De La Hoya to return to boxing under a new promoter, Jerry Perenchio. Responding to the lawsuit, Arum called it despicable and defended the solidity of their contract. He suggested that De La Hoya was unable to deal with defeat and was looking for a scapegoat. Despite the legal victory, the relationship between De La Hoya and Arum, once profitable and strong, had soured significantly. In the first week of January 2004, the FBI conducted a raid on Bob Arum's Top Rank office in Las Vegas as part of an investigation into alleged fight fixing within the boxing world. This raid was a part of Operation Matchbook, an undercover investigation that had been ongoing since at least October 2002. During the raid, FBI agents seized computers, videotapes of fights, and business records dating back to 2001. The focus of the investigation included allegations of fixed fights, notably concerning the rematch between Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley, even though De La Hoya, who was promoted by Arum, lost the fight. The federal agency was also investigating some of Eric Esch's fights, as well as the Jorge Paez-Verdal Smith fight. Despite the extensive nature of the probe, which included the confiscation of various documents and computer hard drives from Top Rank's offices, the investigation was eventually closed in the summer of 2006 with no charges filed against Arum or Top Rank. Bob Arum expressed relief and a lack of bitterness over the investigation's conclusion, noting that no wrongdoing was found. However, wrongdoing was found when Bob Arum's Top Rank filed a lawsuit on July 1st in U.S. District Court against Al Heyman and his Premier Boxing Champions, or PBC series, alleging monopolistic practices and violations of the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. The act prohibits serving as both a manager and a promoter, which Top Rank claimed Heyman did for his 200-plus fighters, using sham promoters. The lawsuit, involving deep discovery and document exchanges, was settled following a confidential agreement. Despite past tensions, including Mayweather's 2006 departure from Top Rank, Arum expressed willingness for future collaborations between Top Rank and Heyman-managed boxers. This settlement removed a major legal hurdle, potentially facilitating more significant fights in the future. While Arum was navigating the legal complexities of his lawsuit settlement, he simultaneously faced internal challenges within his own Top Rank stable, notably with one of his biggest stars, Miguel Cotto. In 2009, Antonio Margarito, managed by Bob Arum's Top Rank, faced controversy when he was found guilty of attempting to use illegal, plaster-like substances in his gloves. This was discovered before his fight against Shane Mosley. Margarito's license was revoked by the California State Athletic Commission, a decision that Arum planned to circumvent by scheduling fights in Mexico. Miguel Cotto, who had been handed his first loss to Margarito, criticized this move. insisting on compliance with the penalty for the sport's integrity. The incident raised questions about Margarito's past fights, including his win over Cotto. This controversy contributed to Cotto eventually leaving Top Rank for Rock Nation, citing business reasons and suggesting a pattern of mistreatment by Top Rank towards its big stars. Bob Arum's conduct in the Margarito controversy suggests a focus on business interests at the expense of ethical considerations in the sport. Margarito was unforgivably caught red-handed loading his gloves, and Arum's attempt to circumvent the suspension by arranging fights in Mexico was seen as undermining the sport and defending a fighter who many boxing fans believe should have been banned for life, never mind suspended. Similar internal tensions arose at Top Rank, only this time involving Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and contractual disagreements over a fight with Gennady Golovkin. Chavez Jr.'s manager Billy Keane criticized Top Rank for insisting on a contract extension as part of the fight deal. Bob Arum, initially handling negotiations, brought in Todd Duboff after reaching an impasse with the Chavez Jr. camp. The situation escalated with public disclosures and disagreements about the terms. Chavez Jr. expressed frustration over the reduced offer without an extension, citing it as a mockery, and criticized Arum for not respecting the Muhammad Ali Act, which demands transparency in negotiations. Chavez Jr., the son of the legendary Mexican fighter, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., eventually parted ways with Top Rank to join Al Heyman in 2014, marking another loss of a Top Rank fighter, leaving the promotion due to financial issues. Arum has also faced allegations of racism from his own fighters, most notably Terence Crawford. In a lawsuit, Crawford accused Arum of biased treatment towards black boxers and favoritism towards white and Latino fighters. The suit includes a 6-count complaint which alleges 2 counts of breach of contract, 1 count of fraudulent misrepresentation, 1 count of negligent misrepresentation, 1 count of breach of the implied covenant of good faith, and 1 count of fair dealing and tortious breach of the implied covenant of good faith, with Crawford seeking over $5.4 million in damages. Arum firmly denies these allegations, emphasizing his long-standing support for boxers of color. He responded to the allegations by saying Bud Crawford's lawsuit against Top Rank is frivolous. His vile accusations of racism are reckless and indefensible. He knows it, and his lawyer knows it. I have spent my entire working life as a champion of black boxers, Latino boxers, and other boxers of color. I have no doubt the court will see Crawford's case for the malicious extortion attempt that it is. Previously, other Top Rank fighters had made similar allegations, with Floyd Mayweather calling a Top Rank offer a slave contract, being the most famous one in which racial references were used. On that occasion, Mayweather rejected an $8 million offer to face Antonio Margarito in 2006, and chose instead to buy his way out of his contract with Top Rank for $750,000. Mayweather retired more than a decade later, having posted career earnings exceeding $1 billion. In the competitive and outspoken world of combat sports, Arum's career in boxing promotion has been marked by various feuds with other high-profile promoters. These rivalries often stem from competitive business dealings, disagreements over fight promotions, and contrasting approaches and ideals to managing athletes' careers. He has had public spats with Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn over his excessive use of rematch clauses, and has been vocal about his disgust over Sky Sports and Hearn's decision to stage pay-per-views during the coronavirus pandemic. While Don King and Bob Arum are like the Fraser and Alley of boxing promotion, there was a time they hated each other, back when boxing ruled the 1970s and 80s. They have butted heads for decades as they battled for fighters, television network money and dates, attention for their events, and sometimes when their fighters would go head-to-head. Their competition escalated beyond professional boundaries, once involving a ringside scuffle at a Leonard Hagler fight where King, allegedly gesturing towards a gun in his pocket, had to be restrained by security. Another time, Arum was so irritated by King's boasting about Felix Trinidad beating Oscar de la Hoya that he ripped off the sound at the post-fight press conference. On more than one occasion, King has tried to steal away fighters from Arum, even once whispering into De La Hoya's ear following his close loss to Felix Trinidad by saying, "If I was your promoter, you'd have won this fight." King once even attempted to sue Arum for incorrigible efforts for allegedly stealing Julio Cesar Chavez from his promotion in 1998. While sharing a competitive rivalry for over 40 years, they have co-promoted some of the sport's most lucrative fights. Among the biggest was the historic heavyweight bout featuring George Foreman and Michael Moorer in 1994. This fight is especially notable as Foreman, at age 45, recaptured the heavyweight title, becoming the oldest heavyweight champion in history. Arum and King are more friendly rivals these days than the bitter enemies they were for so long, having earned each other's respect over the years. In a recent sit-down interview, they both declared to making each other better promoters, and that they motivated each other to work harder at their craft, showing a deep respect between the two once fierce rivals. A feud that doesn't seem to be getting squashed anytime soon is that with UFC President Dana White. Arum has publicly slated the UFC and MMA in interviews, saying that it's for white, tattooed skinheads who roll around on the floor like homosexuals. Arum has also accused White of fabricating pay-per-view numbers. In 2020, Dana publicly criticized Bob for undercompensating boxers, like Terrence Crawford, labeling Arum a scumbag. This condemnation came during a press conference in response to Arum's remark about losing money on Crawford's fights, which White found unacceptable. Dana has also let his dislike for Arum be known by publicly declaring, "I fucking hate that guy," at another UFC presser. So I don't think they're close to burying the hatchet just yet. Bob Arum is currently 91 years old, and as of the time of this video, he is still promoting boxing matches, which, besides being incredible for someone of his age, is a testament to his unmatched passion for the sport. Throughout his illustrious career, Arum has amassed a substantial net worth, estimated to be around $300 million. His wealth is testimony to his success in promoting some of the biggest and most lucrative fights in boxing history, managing legendary fighters, and shaping the sport itself. As we close our exploration of Arum's journey, we see a story of ambition, success, and the rich archives of boxing's history, all embodied in one influential individual. What's your view on Arum's legacy? Do you see him as a visionary on par with promoters like Don King, or do you think his methods were more contentious? How has Arum shaped your perception of boxing promotion? Your thoughts and insights are invaluable in understanding the multifaceted narrative of one of boxing's most influential figures. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that like button like an overhand right from Hagler. And don't forget to subscribe to Dark Sleuth Secrets so you don't miss out on any of our uploads. We hope to see you all in 2024. Until next time, stay curious and keep sleuthing.